prvo predavanje kojim će ovoga puta East Weekend Fest biti otvoren. Zadovoljstvo mi je da predstavim naše goste iz Rumunije. To su Cristian Manafu i Voicu.
So, how did you travel? I heard that you regret not coming to Bor by car.
Yeah, I drive a lot, and you'll see in my presentation that I do drive a lot.
Okay.
So we didn't really estimate the distance between Bor and Bucharest, and we thought, well, maybe we should go by plane. We would rather have had come by car, and we've seen a beautiful Serbia from Belgrade to Bor, and obviously
how long did it take to come from Belgrade to Bor?
3 hours.
Oh.
3 hours. And
well, you were lucky.
It would have taken us 6 hours from Bucharest, so take into account that we've flown 1.5 hours, plus 3 hours, plus the hours we stayed in the airport. Probably we have been here a lot faster.
Oh, well, you can...
Next time.
Yeah, next time. There is always a next time. So, actually, I've got a couple of questions, but I think that you may answer them during your lecture, so I'm not going to ask them now.
Let's keep them for afterwards.
Yeah, okay.
We'll say that. He's not speaking too much, you know. He's my bodyguard for the day. Okay. We need to move the... Yeah. First of all, who we are. My name is Voicu. I'm one of the bloggers in Romania. Cristian Manafu the same. He's gonna say a little bit more about him when his turn to speak will come. We're gonna have a presentation that will talk about the online market in Romania. Afterwards, we'll talk a little bit about social media in Romania and the campaigns the companies in Romania create using social media, and that will be Christy's part. Afterwards, I will speak about blogging, about money from blogs, as I've heard it's quite interesting. It's quite an interesting subject for you. And afterwards, we'll show you some case studies of big social media and blogging campaigns that were created in Romania using people in the blogosphere and social media influencers. So for the moment, I'm using my computer.
Yeah, may I grab the mic just for a couple of announcements? Dakle, ono što smo zaboravili da vam kažemo, ako se kačite na internet, kačite se na hotelsku konekciju, dakle Hotel Albo, pošto se SBB.net koristi za streaming, i također stavite nam do znanja ukoliko vam treba prevodilac da biste razumeli ovo predavanje. Hvala.
Sorry. Did I do something wrong?
No.
First of all, how many of you use Facebook? Okay. Quite a lot. How many of you use Twitter? Actually, I think you're using Twitter more than they're using it in Romania. And how many of you are bloggers? Do you all blog in your native language or in English? How many of you blog in English? No, but I asked at the end, how many of you blog in English? I know you cannot raise your hand when I ask a question like that. Okay, so first of all, who I am. I'm a blogger, and I'm supposed to be a social media influencer. And it's funny because if you look at my blog, you'll see 1, 2, 3 campaigns actually. One of them is Rediscover Romania, which I have a t-shirt actually. The one that's here on the sides, the one on the top is for the biggest bank in Romania. And actually the article you can see a part of is part of a campaign I actually managed for a beer with tequila. I don't know if you know about Desperados. I don't drink alcohol, by the way. But I actually am good enough to promote. And it's quite funny because as an invitation in the campaign, we got one of those lizards, a gecko lizard. All the bloggers that are part of these campaigns actually got a real live lizard to keep at home if they wanted to. Christy actually didn't want his. I kept mine. Oh, sorry. Other than that, I'm a community manager I created the bloggers community in Romania, something like 5 years ago. And this is part of one of the trips we had during an event we called Blog Trip. And for 2 years, we went around Romania and had workshops like this in order to teach people blogging and everything. And we left Romania with, I think there's 10 or something. Consultant for online projects and campaigns, lots of them. As you can see, I think actually this is one of Christy's events. He organizes events in Romania. Other than being my bodyguard, he actually does some work. I love cars. Actually, the Mercedes is mine, part of a campaign with Mercedes. The Audi is part of a campaign with Audi 3 years ago. And I have been involved in almost every major online campaign in Romania in the last 6 years. I was country manager at Yahoo Romania for the 1 year they've been to Eastern Europe. And I'm currently the manager of Intact Interactive, which is the online division of the biggest media outlet in Romania. Before that, a little bit about Romanian internet market. I actually have 2 presentations because I needed to focus on. As I've seen, and you can correct me, as I've seen on the internet, the penetration rate of the internet in Serbia is quite big. Something like 60-65% of the people here use internet. Actually, in Romania, it's a lot slower. It's a lot smaller. I think it's 23% or something. But because the population of Romania is 22 million, we actually have more people using the internet than you do. So we have around 8 maybe million internet users. And we have a young, probably you do the same. I didn't find any numbers about Serbia written in English that I could understand. So probably as you can see, and please correct me if I'm wrong, we have a lot of youngsters online. But here, looking at the age of people here, it looks like the average age of people on the internet in Serbia is actually a little bit higher. Is that right? I mean, we have, as you can see, we have 60% of it is up to 34 years old. Actually, we call ourselves dinosaurs in Romania because we're in the 30s or something. But, and this I didn't find any way of seeing, we actually have a lot of people with high levels of income in using the internet in Romania. I don't know if that's the case here also. We have the market in Romania has one weird characteristic compared to the Western countries. So I'm trying to compare with Serbia, but as I told you, I didn't find too many numbers. We have big media outlets in Romania that actually control most of the market in the online world. So we have companies like ProTV, which is a part of CME. I think is an American investment fund which has the main offices in the Czech Republic. So Intact Media Group is the group I'm part of right now. As you can see, there are something like 6 or 7 media companies that control most of the money that come into the market. Most of the money goes to their properties, to their web properties, which are supported, if you want, by their offline properties. So they have web properties for TVs, they have for TV stations, they have web properties for newspapers, and those are usually the main content creators in Romania. So online advertising in Romania is like this. More than 15 advertising networks that manage online advertising campaigns, unfortunately not as big as we'd want. There are 4 major organizations that monitor the Romanian activity. BRAT, actually it's called SATI, S-A-T-I for the internet, which is the organism that counts the users that use different sites. IAB Romania, IAA and RAC. Our top websites are Trilulilu, which is a video sharing website. I don't know, which is the biggest website in Serbia, in your knowledge? Which with the most users? Most unique users a month. Which is a community. A community. We have one forum, as you can see on the third, but that site is actually getting most of its money from outside of Romania. You might have heard of softpedia.com, especially users that download a lot of freeware from the web. And their Romanian forum, because it's owned by 2 Romanians, actually is there, but just because of that. Other than that, we have a video sharing website, Trilulilu, which competes with YouTube in Romania, and it's quite popular. High Five, you know what it is. That's GSP.ro is a sports website, the biggest in Romania. ProTV.ro is as I told you, is a TV station, which recently had, do you know America's Got Talent? We had a similar show called, obviously, Romania's Got Talent, and they grew a lot just because of that show. Sport.ro, well, it talks for itself. The next 2 websites are actually tabloids, gossip websites that started that with that one and so on. Nobody knows. I don't ever go there. TPU.ro is a answers-like website. Do you know answers@yahoo.com? So TPU.ro is a site like that. A1.ro is somehow similar to ProTV.ro and is part of Intact Media Group, which I manage actually. Most of the things I'm going to tell you are in the second part of the presentation, but right now I'm going to let my bodyguard and my friend Cristian Manafu, I'm going to let him talk about social media.
Zdravo. My friends, because zdravo is the only word I learned last night. You have a good beer and I forgot everything else. I let Bobby, okay. Do you know this campaign? It was here also, I think, with Pepsi? Last year. Well, it's one of the biggest campaigns in Romania also. And the reason I showed this to you is that big brands are coming and came in social media in Romania very strong. They are present there, they are doing things, they are working with bloggers and social media users. And I would like to show you a video. So you've seen that campaign, so I want to show you something again. So this is Bobby, if you didn't, and this is me and Bobby. Okay, this was the cover of the magazine. Pepsi took several online and social I'm your bodyguard, you're my tech guy, so I mean, you can't imagine I'm his bodyguard. He's bigger than me. So you might imagine in Romania bodyguards are smaller than the stars, and the stars are all fat, as Bobby.
I'm not fat, I'm just round.
Yeah. So, nu mă duc cu fac ceva greșit. No, I will stay here because I
One second. Just, so bodyguards are fat, and people that use the internet actually don't know how to use a mouse. We have a lot of things. Press this one every time you need to change the slide.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. So, let's try again. As I said, many brands are working with people from social media and bloggers, and this started, I think, 3 years ago. So here you can see me over there, video that is going to be aired this month. And over there, it's a video from Vodafone, which was made especially for internet, for a campaign they did 2 years ago and last year also. Here it's me with a guy from the, I think, best auto website in Romania, driving the new Ford Focus, and with a camera on the board, filming everything we are talking about, and then put it on YouTube, letting other people to see us. And then it's for that bank, the biggest bank in Romania. It's a campaign from last year. Also a video with me and other blogger, well-known blogger in Romania. So I'm involved as Bobby, in a lot of campaigns, and this came after they read my blog and they got to know me and they saw an opportunity to work with people. As Bobby said, I'm also organizing events, and you can see me talking in a lot of events, more than 30 events per year. And I try to promote as much as I can social media. And as you gathered here today, last year we had IStok, which gathered around 700 people in Bucharest from social media, Romanian social media, talking about exactly like you are talking this weekend, trends, new things, how to be better in social media, how to do different campaigns and work with companies, because it's very let's say a hot trend to make people from the online work for you as a brand to let's say complete their campaigns they are doing on TV, radio, and newspaper. So I was a former journalist. For 8 years I worked as a business journalist, then I started my company, my events company, and 6 years ago I started a blog, and I try to write every day something on the blog and also make a living out of it. And also I'm a consultant and trainer in social media for companies. Another way to make money if you want to start a career in social media, and it's the best time right now. So I will show you a little bit another statistics from Romania. These are the social networks, the major social networks in Romania. As you can see, Facebook is the biggest one right now. How big is Facebook in Serbia? How many users do you have here?
It's bigger than internet in Serbia.
Well, it's can I use this in Romania?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people say that there are more people on Facebook, like restricted users, than users of internet in Serbia. But it depends what sources
Okay.
you use.
So around 2 million? More.
2.5 million.
2.5. So yeah, we have 3.2 million and 5.1 unique visitors per month. The second is High Five, and High Five was the biggest in Romania.
Up to last year.
Yeah. And Three, as you can see, is also a big NTPU, as Bobby said before. Neogen is a local social network. They started, I think, 5 years ago. More before Facebook came.
Before the internet.
Before
They
the
started
internet.
On the internet.
And also LinkedIn. I don't know, LinkedIn here is here popular. We have 400,000 people on LinkedIn. So
It's quite used for business and recruiting
Yeah.
in Romania.
I mean, people from business started to use LinkedIn, and we gained 100,000 users in 1 year, which is a lot for Romania also. And Twitter, even if it's not a big trend like Facebook, it is used more than by influencers, early adopters, people that are moving things, people from online advertising, media, PR. They are using Twitter to promote, to announce what they are doing, and so on and so on. So it has an impact. As you know, Twitter is now in 2 minutes. You forgot the message. So, but if you have, I don't know, Bobby, how many followers do you have?
9,000.
9,000.
I'm the second in Romania, or the third with
Yeah. So if you want to make a deep impact and you are a communication professional, you should use Twitter, but you do know this already. So we conducted a study last year, and we find out that Romanians opened 4 accounts on 4 different networks. I mean, other than Facebook, here in Serbia, what do you use in Twitter? What do you use for a social networking? There are other popular social networks here?
They have a forum.
Beside the forum? No. In Romania, they open on Facebook. Yeah. In Romania, they are currently using 3 different networks. So we are very active on social networks. We are spending 13 days out of 30 in 1 month on social networks, and our average session in social networks is 1 hour and, I don't know, 90 minutes. So, but do you have restrictions here for social networks in companies? Yeah. 2 out of 10 users said they have restrictions in Romania. So maybe people from banks, usually from banks and state-owned or I don't know, administration. So we also wanted to know what they are doing on social networks. And the first thing they are doing, or the most well-known thing they are doing, is searching for new things. People want to be informed in Romania on social networks. Secondly, is to look at pictures. We are like to, see what our friends are doing on Peeps, yeah. And then, we are searching for old friends and just read what people are writing. Also, it's interesting the relationship of the users, social network users. And when I say social networks, think of Facebook, because Facebook will be the social network in Romania. I mean, the others will maybe disappear.
Will become applications for Facebook.
So 1 in 3 social networks users in Romania have as a friend or a connection a company. So companies started to be very, very active and to get in touch with the users. So 1 in 3, it's a big number. And it's also important, 6 out of 10 are going for meeting companies just to look for promotions, informations, or about the products and what they are doing, the brands are doing. And a good news for the brands is that only 20% are commenting on the brand's activities. So they don't attack the brands, or they aren't negative, towards the brand. So this is a good news. I will show you the top social brands in Romania. It's an annual, let's say, event and special issue of Biz magazine. I showed you Biz magazine, the cover where we were naked on the cover. So Vodafone is the first one. Romanian commercial bank, which is the biggest, is the second. Microsoft is very active in Romania. I don't know if Microsoft here is very active in the social media or with the, but very active in Romania. Now we show a case study.
They also have a big presence in Romania. They have a big office, like 150 employees there.
Yeah.
So they're quite big.
Petrom, the company that started with Bobby Redescover Romania.
I'm going to tell you more a little bit later.
Avon, Nokia, Orange, and you can see, and you'll have the presentation if you want to see the. But as you can see, tech brands, banks, beer brands. I mean, I'm involved this month in 3 different campaigns from 3 different beer companies, beer brands. This month only. You don't know. I will tell you later.
I know 2 of them.
One more to come. Also, fast-moving consumer goods like Danone, Rom, which is a local chocolate bar brand, and Tuborg beer again, Ursus Grolsch beer, Heineken beer. So you can see beers are very strong in social media in Romania. There are 3 main activities companies are doing in Romania. One is to build awareness, and most of the campaigns you'll see and you'll hear about, and companies starting in Romania are for building awareness. They want to let people that don't watch TV anymore, that they are doing something. People, I'm not watching TV, I don't read newspapers, I listen only to radio without commercials, and I don't look at outdoor posters. So I'm driving like this. I'm not. So online.
This is why he had 5 accidents last year. I mean, he was driving like this.
Well, I discovered the mirror last year. So the second is the customer service. I mean, some companies want to talk to the customers in online, and they met them on Facebook. They are trying to reach them on Twitter. They also dedicated special persons in their customer service departments to talk to them on forums. I don't know if on your forum there are companies active on talking to customers. But in Romania they started to have dedicated people that talk to the customers. And third, but this is like a future trend, is to sell on social networks. And we had an interesting case study with a pizza delivery company. They had a good strategy, and they have good sales on Facebook with coupons, discounts. Now it's raining. Who wants a pizza? 10% offer on the spot, and people reacted, and they had an interesting case study in an event in Romania. So I will show you right now a few case studies. This is what I called Vodafone social media newsroom. Vodafone started in 2009 to have a very strong presence, and they started with social media properties. They started with Twitter, then Facebook, then YouTube channel, then Flickr channel, then Delicious channel, and a lot of social media presence. And then they gathered them all together in a social media newsroom. It's called VodafoneNewsroom.ro, and you can see it online. And all their news, all the videos, all the photos, everything they have, it's over there in one place. So if you want to see or to learn something about Vodafone in Romania, you can go on VodafoneNewsroom.ro and see all they are doing in social media. Microsoft, I told you about Microsoft, did last year an interesting, campaign. It was a tweet book. They asked people to tweet about their first experience with browsers. With internet and also with browser, because they launched the Internet Explorer, 9. And 127 people answered their challenge, to tweet about what was your first experience on the internet. And mine was like, I thought Hotmail was a sex porn site. I didn't know it was an email service. I imagine hot is from girls, not from emails. So, but they, published in this online ebook my tweet also. Ford is doing right now the launch of Ford Focus in Romania, and as a pre-launch campaign, they got 3 people very well known in online, myself included, and used us as brand ambassadors. They have this Ford Focus, new Ford Focus website, and this website aggregates my tweets, my posts on Facebook, my posts, my videos from YouTube about the car, and let the whole wide, Romania to see what we as, people from internet are thinking and talking about this new car they are going to launch later on in this May. So they went, above the regular campaigns, like using banners, using paid conversations, reviews and stuff, and they use the bloggers and the social media influencers as brand ambassadors. I think one of, in Romania was the first one, but I think one of the Europe's first shops on Facebook was launched by Kaspersky last year in Romania. They started an online commerce let's say page on Facebook to sell their antivirus packages. You can also pay in Facebook for their software. And my last case study is from Avon, also a top social brand in Romania, and very, very, very active. I don't know how it's here, but they started their own social network. They made their own Facebook. They can easily use Facebook, but they said, no, we are making ours, because they have this big network of people that sell their products, people that use their products, and they want to bring all the people from offline in this social network to interact, even to sell products in the end, but to make this big community for Avon. So they made this social network. This social network? Well, they started in August, and in the first 2 months they got 30,000 users registered. But it's easier for them. Why? Because they
already
have the network.
They gave them tools on this site to use in their selling process. So they were interested to.
So each person that sells, let's say, Avon products can make his or her own community. So why, should I keep an agenda or phone numbers when I can, reach them in this social network? So they think of it as a good networking for sales in the end, but they have to and it's an experiment, approved from the States, from the United States, as a pilot experiment in Romania, and if it will work, they will do it in Europe or all Europe. So it's a test for Romania. Bobby, I will give you the microphone.
Okay, I'm going to talk about blogging. As I've found out, blogging is quite growing right now in Serbia. It's becoming the phenomenon we started, I think, 6-7 years ago. First of all, I've seen a lot of bloggers. How many of you wish to actually make money out of this at some point? Surprisingly, I thought anybody would want to make money out of blogging. Yeah, interesting. Interesting because we had the same thing in Romania, actually. Nobody wanted to blog for money. But at some point you realize that you're actually not blogging for money. Money is just a byproduct of the blog. So what I'm trying to tell you right now is, in order to do interesting projects, in order to create all this awareness and all this fuss about social media, about the blogosphere, you need to bring the companies there. You need to bring them. They're not going to come by themselves. I mean, we started 6, maybe 7 years ago blogging, and I think we've spent 2 or 3 years talking to people about what blogging is, why it can change, I don't know, even lives at some point. We had people that were saved because of blogs in Romania. People that found money for their operations because of blogs. So you need to bring companies there. I mean, we can tell you a lot about how interesting the things we do are, and you'll see in my case studies. So we're involved every year in 5 or 6 campaigns that are interesting, 1 or 2 that are great, and some other that are usual. You know, right? Writing articles, or I don't know, getting banners for something. So let me tell you about the blogosphere in Romania a little bit. I think this was, yeah. Sorry. Okay. So the blogging scene, it has evolved in the past 5 years, but the ones that are right now at the top of the lists, of the influential lists, usually started more than 5 years ago. We were the ones that wore the stigma of being, of not having a social life, of not having a sex life, of being full of
maybe
zits.
Maybe you.
Yeah.
Maybe. I made it at least.
Yeah.
I
So
have.
we wore that stigma. Every time you would meet with somebody, they were saying, you're a blogger. Yeah, you're right. When is the last time you got out of the house? Actually, I think I go out of the house a lot more than you do, but that's not important. We need to look for subjects. Pro-bloggers have become, we call them pro-bloggers already, because we have 2 types of bloggers in Romania that actually make an impact. So we'll not talk about, most of them make money out of blogs, but that's not the defining trait of the bloggers in Romania. The defining trait is that they have an impact on things, on campaigns, on social campaigns, on politics, on everything. So basically, pro-bloggers have become important voices for the companies and the Romanian public. Let me give you an example, a personal example. My father was involved in politics. He never met the president of Romania. Never ever met the president of Romania. And he wanted to. And actually, I got to meet them, the president of Romania, the ex-president of Romania, because of my blog. He was like, I was 10 years in politics, and in the middle to top levels, I've never met him. I said, yeah, what can I say? Apparently, I write better than you do. Some of the bloggers even got high-ranking jobs in some of the biggest companies in the countries and in the world. I was at Yahoo. I have a good friend that just got hired by Google. We have bloggers at Microsoft. We have bloggers at the biggest companies in Romania, as social media managers, as managers, and so on. So blogging is now involved in every major brand communication campaign. Again, it's going to sound like everything we do is, of course we can do those, right? Companies come to us, it's easy. It wasn't as easy as it is today 5 or 6 years ago. We were a group of weird people talking about the internet. Interactive agencies have emerged, managing online campaigns. So, which are the top 10 influencing people in social media? I was talking to Christy. This is based on the volume of the things they write, on the links they get, and so on. So Zoso, he should have been here, but he had a problem. Is the first. You can see me there in the 6th place, Christy in the 4th place. Most of those you see there is, sorry, the last one is Orlando, not Orlando. Most of those actually started blogging, as I told you, more than 6 years ago. So if you're in blogging for a quick anything, quick bug, quick fame, quick influence, not gonna happen. And it's gonna take time and years of doing things. So in Romania, bloggers earned around 300 euros in 2010. Actually, we think these numbers are a little bit understated because, as in, I don't know in Serbia, but in Romania, people try to avoid the IRS of our country as much as possible. So we think it's kind of in the half a million range. Only 35% of it came exclusively from writing. And this is what a future blogger should understand if he wants to earn anything out of this. Actually, blogging is not the main source of income for most of the person there. For Christy, his main source of income, as I know it, is organizing events. But by blogging, he gets a lot of awareness. He gets a lot of contacts. I actually do consulting. I manage one of the country's biggest interactive agency. So blogging, I still do blogging. I still write a lot on my blog. I still am part of the campaigns because that is how I can actually go to clients or prospective partners and say, hey, I'm Bobby Voicu. And he says, I know you, I read the blog. How was it in Geneva or Turkey or wherever I've been the last 6 months, or how was through Romania? So you already have a connection. Use that connection and earn more. Not money necessarily, earn more attention, earn more of everything you want. So 3% of the bloggers said that their personal website is the only source of income for them. In my opinion, that those 3% are actually people that don't earn that much. So money from advertising on blogs, usually you need to have a little bit of an audience. But in Romania, it's around 100,000 unique visitors a day. And those that can earn from, as you've seen the numbers, right? €500,000 last year. Usually, I don't know if you're familiar with the Pareto rule. 20% of the customers actually make 80% of your income. It's kind of the same in blogging. I think maybe 5% of the bloggers make 95% of those, a lot of hundreds and thousands of euros. And those are only from the Romanian market. I was telling to someone a little bit earlier that we actually have bloggers in Romania that blog in English that earn more than $20,000, $30,000 a month, but from blogs in English. So blogs make money from different forms of advertising: banners, advertorials, special projects, paid articles. You'll see all of those in the case studies that will follow. It's been reported that bloggers earn about 200,000 euros from advertising only. Bloggers actually earn a lot from consulting companies, from talking to them and explaining how to do things in social media. And more important, bloggers, as I've seen, most of the bloggers here have a Facebook account, have a Twitter account. Usually, right now, if 3 years ago bloggers were bloggers only, right now, if you want to get involved into a campaign, you need to get involved with all the tools of communication you have. So usually, when you get bloggers in campaigns, the companies ask, okay, how many Facebook accounts, how many Facebook friends do they have? How many Twitter followers do they have? How much they communicate? How many reactions they have? So the questions from the companies changed from how can people see us to how can people interact with us. I actually had a campaign from Microsoft at some point, which was not sold nor by articles, nor by mentions, nor by anything, but by how many times people interacted in those articles and so on. And they wanted something like 300 interactions, and they got around 1,000. So more and more companies don't really want to just be there. Of course, I don't know the situation in Serbia, but first of all, you need to get them to just be there. So I'm going to show you some of the case studies. I'm going to start with a little movie. Actually, two of them. As you can see, quite some coverage, and actually these are the numbers of the 2010 Rediscover Romania. We continued to discover Romania in 2011, and if last year we've had 25 people in all, actually we didn't travel for 3 months at a time, we traveled in short bursts of 5 days, but through those 3 months, and we were like 25 in the entire 4 trips. In 2011, the same campaign shows something like this: bloggers jumping. These are the people that actually went in the first trip, or the second, I don't We have 5 this year. We like 24 in every trip. 24 other. That's me in front, in case you didn't know. I'm kind of fat, you're right. Okay. And if last year we've tried to reach, as you've seen, 200,000 users in Romania, this year we actually hope to reach more than 500,000. And this is only using internet. We didn't use TV, we didn't use newspapers, we only used bloggers, social media, like Facebook and Twitter. We didn't use TV or anything. After one of the TV stations in Romania on Twitter. So let me tell you some more about it. As you've seen, we had a map. Basically the idea, and I told you, money is just a byproduct. The idea of the company wasn't about money. It was about rediscovering tourism in Romania. Romanians always say, okay, where do we go to today? Well, Barcelona, London, whatever. They don't actually go in Romania. And Romania is the second biggest country in Eastern Europe after Poland. So it's huge. As you've seen, we've done something like 6,000 kilometers in 4 outings, and we haven't covered but maybe half of the country. So it's big. You can see lots of things, lots of different things. People just don't know, and more they've forgotten in the last 20 years after the fall of the communism. So basically we've started to make a map with sites and touristic objects, which had an iPhone app. Right now you can go on your Android mobile as well and look for Redescoper România, and you'll find it there too. We had a Facebook page by Petrom. We had 4 trips around the country, 25 KOLs, key opinion leaders, bloggers and social media influencers. And in order to generate it, they choose to have an image vector, which they wanted to be me. I am known in Romania for being very open to driving around the world, to trips. As I told you, I had something called blog trip and so on, so it only came natural. So the entire summer, I actually didn't have a holiday, I worked. I had to travel around Romania, and most important, I had to find 25 bloggers that were compatible with the message, and not only that, that they were very active in social media. And surprisingly for me, because I wasn't sure I could, we found those people. So these are the results. You saw in the movie. More than 5,000 pictures were taken and uploaded to Facebook, Flickr, and blogs. More than 50 gigabytes of film was shot. We actually shot every trip hour by hour from the car. We still added the movies we filmed last summer, and we're doing new ones this year. 200 t-shirts, 6,000 tweets, and so on. The petrol map had over 50,000. There is 0 missing there. 2,000 users actually connected to the map and started to add things. 600 new touristic destinations. The iPhone app was downloaded more than 6,000 times, and so on. But the most important out of it was that a big company, you have OMV in Serbia, I see. So Petrom is part of the OMV company, and we've reached, and this is again maybe the most important thing, 200,000 people just by using the internet, which is huge. The second one, the second campaign I want to tell you about is, I don't know, I think your national team is quite good these days, right? Aren't we in the same group for the European Championship or something? Okay, you've beaten us. Anyway, so we had a great football team, something like 15 years ago, right? And the team right now, well, let's say, is not that good, to say the least. So Timișoara, which is a beer brand, said, okay, you know what? Let's rediscover the real football. Let's see how the football was played 15 years ago. Let's see how the superstars played. Because you know what? People that are right now 20, 25 years old, never seen Hagi play. If you're football fans, you probably know who he is. And okay, let's get them to see them playing. So, but why just see them playing? Why not, if you're passionate enough, play against them in a match? So what they did is they created a campaign to get those people to play in that match. And I actually was part of the campaign. I actually almost got into the match, but I wasn't supposed to. You know, that was interesting. But yeah, I was too fat. I was like, oh, come on. I would have been, because the match actually was played before the final of the National Cup, and it was transmitted live on TV. So 16 people actually got to play with their idols, with people that not only they didn't see in real life playing, they never seen them. So this is the campaign. So what's interesting is they used what is called user-generated content. People needed to, I'm sorry, I couldn't find the videos I had. So people were supposed to upload videos about them and their passion for football. And I was actually having I'm a goalkeeper. And I was actually having a video shot on the beach at the seaside showing we need to train every time. And people actually shot a lot of videos. We had something like, I don't know, 500 or 600 videos, which are not a lot in terms of numbers, but for Romania is huge. A similar contest in the UK actually brought 60,000 videos from people. So what I've done was I actually spammed all my followers, all my friends, all my readers to just go and vote for me. And I've spammed that well that I told you. I was supposed, I think I was the 17th or something, and there were 16. And yeah, I wasn't supposed to get there. I used all my channels. I told you it's very important for a blogger to use all those channels. And more importantly, all my friends and my readers actually participated in that campaign and started to spam their friends as well and so on. I'm not telling you to spam your friends. It's just the way to do things. So the results, as I told you, it was live on one of the biggest sports channels in Romania. 16 fans played the match. There were thousands of users voting, lots of blog posts and so on. And one of the most important things for the brand, because again, remember, you always have to think to the message of the campaign and to the brand. 63 increase in the beer I feel close to. And a lot of people, we cannot at this point know exactly how much more beer they sold just because of this campaign. But because of this campaign, a lot of more people associated beer with football. And in Romania, and I think the same in Serbia, people drink a lot of beer while watching football, right? And more important, it's the beer that sustains the value that transcends time. Okay, this was one of the first campaigns in the online world that actually used a way of doing things that we don't really use it anymore. Competition between bloggers. So they took 4 bloggers, me and Cristi included, and they said, okay, the blogger that makes the most interesting competition for their readers and for their followers, and they generate the most results out of this, will earn a TV, right? Okay. The prize wasn't that important actually at that point, though it was one of the biggest prizes in the online world in 2009. So basically, I remember they filmed us while announcing. It was like a boxing match in which we exchange a lot of curse words, but not necessarily cursing. We used strategies. It was quite interesting. People online were actually taking sides. They were like, no, I like Chris's project more because it's more innovative. No, I like Bobby's project more because he uses the community more. He takes the community and so on. And I cheated a little bit. I told him I'm not participating in the competition anymore, and I beat him in the last 3 days. But strategy, right? And yeah, I won. And I also promised that I would give the TV I won to charity, which I did. And this is what I've done. The blogosphere pixel map, where every blogger in Romania could actually add their small logo just for that. And based on how many there were, we had those. We need to stop?
No.
I'm stopping.
Okay. I'm just interested in the time when you're going to finish because of the coffee break.
I'm going to finish in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
And
then
10 minutes maybe for the
for
question.
questions and everything. Okay, thank you.
You could have asked me, not go to my bodyguard, okay? Come on, man. He's my bodyguard, not my PR, yeah. So, these are the results. I'm not going to read them for you. They were very interesting for us, and it's shown that at last, campaigns in the social media were, it gave us the case study to take to other companies. It was the second biggest campaign that was in the social media world in Romania that actually helped us get the other companies in. BCR, the Money School, one of the biggest, if not the biggest bank in Romania. You saw a banner on my blog with it. They created a website that's a mix between a social network and a campaign website, and they were actually having classes for you to understand how to manage your money. You know, so 5 major bloggers. I was not involved. Cristi was involved. Zoso was involved, as I told you. And the big winner in Romania, we have an Academy of Economic Studies that has a big ball on top of it, a big metal ball, which is said, and I'm hoping not to annoy anybody, which is said that will fall from the academy when the first girl that never had sex in her life will come out of the academy at the end of studies. So it's been there for the last 30 years. And basically the winner of that money school would be the owner of the ball on the top. And I don't know, who won that?
A girl.
So
A girl blogger.
yeah, let's not talk about it. So the teaser, you see here the numbers. One of the things that we've used to track the results were how many mentions of the message of the campaigns appeared on Google. So if you would have looked on LG, I think it shows increased to out of none to 1,700 results now. But then it was something like 89,000. We've updated the numbers right now. As you can see, Școala de Bani, which means the money school, is present in 1.5 million Google results, and 25% of the population between 20 and 60 associated the bank with the money school, which is very important because this bank addresses most of their products to private persons, not to companies. So this is where they want to reach people, and this is where they want a message like, we teach you how to manage your money, especially after 2008 and the big world crisis we're in. And this was actually the first major campaign in Romania. The new ODA4 actually launched in Romania through bloggers. 10 bloggers were given the cars 2 weeks, I think, and they could do with it everything they wanted. Well, not everything. I don't think that we were allowed to sell it. I don't think anybody tried. I took the car. I have a car blog in English. I don't write on it. I only own it, which was mentioned in Forbes as a must-read car blog. So I took the car to Geneva Car Show, driving 6,000 kilometers in 2 weeks. And trust me, and down here is me and my cousin. We own the blog together, so this is why we're there. That's the brand manager of Audi in Romania at the show. And down you see the car. So you see the content. Think about it. This was the first ever big campaign on blogs. This is how you can find me. I didn't tell you of the simple things that you can do with blogs. We still write paid articles or paid reviews. We still get banners for companies. We still give links for SEO purposes. But the thing is, companies don't really know what they want from social media because they don't know social media most of the times. So it's your part to go to companies and propose projects. In time, you'll get to bigger and bigger projects. We're looking right now at things that people do outside of Romania, and we're jealous of it. We're envious of it because though we do lots of interesting things in Romania, they do it bigger and better outside. But we take these examples, we take the case studies we have, and we just go and sell. Basically, what you need to do in order to grow as social media users and as a social media country, if you want, is just convince all those companies that the people they're interested in are there. And as I see, they are already there, but nobody just tells them. And if you need to just go head first in the door of the CEO's office, go. At some point, one of them will say, well, you need to be crazy, but if you're pushing so much, you might have something to say. And this is how we've done it. So basically, this is the end of our presentation. If you have any answers, if you're not that thirsty, please.
I had 3 questions, but I forgot one. So
You forgot one, the other one you're not too sure about, so basically.
Okay, you said about companies, right? But what I see there is Microsoft, Ford, and all the other global companies that actually do whatever they do in their countries, in Romania. Are there any Romanian companies that are doing the same stuff?
Petrom is Romanian, BCR is Romanian, and actually the companies you're seeing, Microsoft and so on, you won't find those things in other countries other than Romania. The thing that Avon is a
American company, but they did it only in Romania. I mean, it started with the people from the companies. Don't matter if it's a foreign company, a multinational company. I mean, it's the people in the company, and most of them are Romanian. So Romanians decide, okay, let's do this, and I'm interested in doing that. I would like to go on Twitter. I would like to go on Facebook. So
actually
we didn't import it. None of it was an imported campaign. I mean, its original concepts were made in Romania.
and
Sorry, but those companies already have the awareness and everything about the importance of social media?
Not necessarily.
actually Microsoft, you're talking about Microsoft. Microsoft in Romania, they came at some point, but they weren't one of the easiest company to work with. Because they also know the fallings of social media, the risks associated with social media. So the biggest campaigns actually were made with Romanian companies. Not to,
Are there any Romanian companies left?
Well, a lot. I mean,
so, 1 second. I told you about Rediscover Romania. Last year was Petrom only. This year is Petrom. The bank you've seen, Dacia, which is the national...
Logan, you have Logan.
Logan, yeah. So that's a Romanian brand, one of the biggest in Romania. it's bought by Renault, but it's Dacia.
So behind all of these companies, there's some.
No.
No. I mean, we
OMV doesn't do social media in Romania.
and
Or anywhere, for that matter.
OMV, they as Renault, they have a different management, different marketing department, different, they are separated in Romania because
So if
at
you
some
want to
point,
work with
Renault
Renault-
competes with Logan.
If you want to work with Renault in Romania, you work with Renault, not with Dacia. So they're totally different.
But we didn't show you small campaigns, but there is a bread company, that makes bread that had campaigns on.
We've shown the ones that are really cute to watch.
And we were involved in, the biggest ones.
And the second question is if you can get me to meet the president of Romania and you are only number 6 in the list, I mean, what is
Actually, that list, that
You thought? So, last year we had elections. Last year was? Or 2 years ago? 2 years ago we had elections. And as you might probably have here, in the last day before the voting, you cannot do advertising. Right? Well,
political advertising.
Political advertising. So, the current president get the first one on the list, who's also an interview. It was the first blogger ever in Romania who got an interview with
The current and
the next president.
the next president.
So in the last day, when nobody was supposed to do the advertising, this first blogger in Romania published the interview with the president. So
One second, there's another question here.
I also have 2 questions, one for each.
There's another 2 questions here.
Actually, half questions. Getting into what he was talking about a minute ago, the question, how much has social media marketing and advertising expanded into small and medium-sized enterprises in Romania?
there are 50,000 pages on Facebook from Romanian companies.
Okay, and they're active.
Imagine. I'm not sure all of them.
We
but
don't have actual numbers
But
on this one.
imagine that 50,000. It's a big. Including celebrity and not only companies, but it's a big. I imagine more than 5,000 companies are active on Facebook right now. So it's a big. Most of them small and mid-sized.
And you also both mentioned several times that Romania is first in the region for several things,
Yeah.
and that companies such as Microsoft and other corporations are exclusively, for now, doing this in Romania. You also mentioned that Romania was going to be a testing ground
For Avon.
Why? Why Romania?
We don't know why. We talked about it. Actually, we were talking about before coming here, and the only country we've actually seen do more interesting things than Romania and Europe is UK. I don't know why. Maybe we're more talkative. I don't know. But
I got this question in another conference from a foreign speaker, and I think the reason is that being the second largest country in Central and Eastern Europe, we're not as big as Poland, we're not as small as Hungary, because Hungary has half of us, our population. So and we have different cultures. I mean, there are Romanians living in Romania, speaking Serbian, also Hungarian, also Bulgarian, also Russian. So maybe it's like something related about our culture. We are a multicultural country. Maybe
there are more things. We speak better English than most of the countries around us, and it's not something that we're necessarily good at. But as you do, we don't have dubbed movies at TV. So our youngsters actually speak English at 7 because they repeat a lot what they hear in cartoons and so on. So it's something of a combination of factors. I don't think that actually it just happened in Romania.
And I can give you an example. In Germany, the first blog was sold 3 or 5 years ago for 60,000 euros. Zoso got an offer for 200,000 euros.
And I sold a blog. The first blog ever sold in Romania was a gossip blog I owned, and I've invested I've invested 1,000 euros in it, and I've sold it 1 year later for 40,000 euros. So basically, and that happened at the end of 2008. So basically, this is why I'm telling you, yeah, you don't want to make money, but money drives everything. So it's a combination of facts.
Let's take, because we don't have
Two more questions. One more question, sorry.
Well, I have five, but I want to complain about the coffee breaks, so...
Okay, next one. I don't drink coffee, I don't care.
Just my question is it your blogs, most of these blogs from the list of 10 blogs, are they wide range or are they niche blogs?
Why?
That's the first question.
They're considered general reading in Romania, but basically, in my opinion, most of them are related to technical stuff and media and communication. Because the influencers, the most influencers are for the moment in that area.
I think my opinion is half-half. I mean, there are, if we are going to look at the top 10 bloggers, there are several journalists, 3 or 4 people that are writing about everything from current events to internet. I mostly write about social media. I mean, 8 out of 10 posts of mine are about Facebook, blogs, whatever.
It's hard to find someone that's influencer in politics, in football, and in the automobile industry at the same time.
You know, basically it comes with everything you do outside of... I'm not influential in politics. I've met the president just because somebody said, okay, we want the most important bloggers to meet the president. And I said, wow, that's interesting. I don't care about politics. It was the only ever event I've been that was related to politics. But it's, in my opinion, you have the possibility to meet the president. You should go, even if you don't like the guy. You know, so this is why. But I'm not influential in politics in any way. But there are bloggers in that top that are actually influential in politics. I like football and I like cars.
And
One small question, and that's the big difference between the blogging scene in Serbia and Romania, and that's your presence in, in person, through that video streaming and through all of that, your, presence in all that reviews and streaming and everything. What's the ratio between your real writing and your, performing in those streams and podcasts?
writing mostly.
For him, actually, I think that in order to gain influence, you need to be present offline, no matter what. I became one of, I am in that list not because I'm a good writer. I know how to speak and write correctly grammatical, but other than that, what I've done was get a group of people with the same interest and taken them throughout Romania, give them a place to meet and talk about things that they all understood and knew how to do to become better, all of them, and so on. So, in my opinion, and this is what I push for every time, go offline, do as many things as possible. Actually, the only blogger which I know that does most of the time writing is the first guy on the top. But he's the only one in the top that does that. And another thing is this one. Most of the influential bloggers don't do just blogging. More than that, most of the time blogging is maybe up to 20% of their activity. You know? Because you cannot be a blogger, a good blogger, a followed blogger, an influential blogger, if you have nothing to show other than the blog. You know? So you need to go out and do things. Play football. So you had another question.
Okay, I'm interested in your tourist tour, Rediscover Romania. Do you have statistics? What was the level of investment, expenses of your tour, and what was the feedback of tourist visits in your Romania?
I think there were several several tens of thousands of euros invested last year. I don't know exactly the amount because I wasn't. So basically, there were three parts in the project. So there was the company Petrom, there was the advertising company iLeo in between, and there was me and the bloggers. So basically, I don't know how much Petrom invested in the entire, but from what I've known is several thousand, tens of thousands of euros. And the feedback we got ranged from this year, especially because people started to know so this year we have 4 outings. We had 2, and in the second one, we're rediscovering the traditions. In the second one, somebody came to us and said we were 20 people wearing these T-shirts. We were pretty hard to miss. And they started to come to us and say, you know, last year I wanted to go somewhere and I didn't because I've seen your campaign and so on. So basically, we're actually making a change. Unfortunately, we cannot follow as much as we'd like.
You can think of a campaign like this by making people do certain things that led to results. They wanted to first to rediscover. I mean, I hope your project will, you know, be extended to the coming years, and then let people, okay, I came here, I don't know, I put my phone over here, I take an application, or I pinpoint my presence, and in the end of the year to see how many people got to that. But they started just to show Romania first. They didn't measure
the project is again a combination of what the company wants and what they can do to get what they want. So basically, Petrom wanted to show that it's a Romanian company, that it values the Romanian values, that is very important for our country to grow responsibly, because we have a problem in setting values and so on, probably because of the 50 years of communism before. So because of that, that's the message they wanted to send. And they used all this tourism thing to send that message, and also do something that's very important for the community. Like that tool, that phone tool you saw, you actually can use it to go in the field and see, I'm here, what can I see in a diameter of 20 kilometers around me, or 30 kilometers? You know? And you just go and see that. And I told you, we start to have reactions like, I want to go there, I've seen that, I didn't know. We have something like 150 meters high cascade in Romania, which is one of the biggest in this part of Europe. And I didn't know about it. People were like, really? We have that? I didn't know. And things like this start to happen, but it's going to take time, unfortunately. We hope. Actually, the government of Romania wanted this project. We told them to wait another year, and they started a similar project which uses Rediscover Romania in its slogan, and probably at some point they'll unite and give, hopefully give more to our people. It sounds a little bit political. It's like I'm having a speech.
Questions or the coffee break?
Any other questions, or how milk do you want, or with sugar or not? It's the coffee. Okay. One more questions, and afterwards we can talk. You can come to us and ask anything. Do you want the question?
No, just to
Coffee.
Okay.
Thank you for your attention.
Wait a minute.
Coffee.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions. We had a quick question on Twitter. A guy complained that he tried to Google the Microsoft tweetbook without any success. So if there's any location, any link you could suggest for further info?
It's on Issue. Does anyone use Issue? The self-publishing platform is issuu.com. And you can flip the pages online. I think.
Okay, we are going to tweet that. Bobby, your bio said that you do stuff on the internet hoping to earn enough money in order to travel for 2 years. I just wanted to ask, how's it going so far?
Actually, I started to travel the world, and I got a call from Yahoo that they wanted. I was in Turkey for a month or so, and they called me and said, we were looking for a country manager for Romania, we'd be interested in you, we've read your blog. And I said, I'm not interested, I'm traveling the world. And they said, where are you? In Turkey. And okay, we'll come there and let's talk for an hour. And they came and they convinced me, and I'm still in Romania 3 years later, but I'm sure that at some point I will go to travel around the world. I have the money right now, I don't have the time.
Oh, well, you can't have it all. Well, thank you for a rather mind-blowing presentation. So the coffee break is upstairs, ili drugim rečima gore u holu, pauza za kafu, budući da je ovde zabranjeno pušenje, a nakon pauze javne ličnosti i društvene mreže.